Video game narrative. It's a topic that has evolved throughout video game history. Video games today provide very intellectual and intense narratives that leave the player on the edge of their seat. However, before these advanced narratives we see in today's games, video games had a very simple storytelling method and it focused more on the gameplay rather than the constant use of cutscenes. This kind of style may appeal to a ludologist, and a ludologist is someone who focuses more on a game's core mechanics and rules rather than its narrative. On the contrary, there are narratologists, people who believe that a game should have a well thought out and expressive story. Back in the 80s, the technology was not advanced enough to tell a well thought out story, but there are two classic games that I believe did well for their time. These two are Super Mario Bros. For the NES and Ms. Pac-Man. First, looking at Super Mario, we see Mario going through many different worlds to ultimately save Princess Peach from the clutches of Bowser. Mario lets the player play in different ways. They can use warp portals to speed up the game, or even take a vine to a new location and find some goodies. Mario is not an easy game, especially with the inability to save your game. Many villains come across Mario's path, such as the Lakitu, the Hammer Brother, and the Goombas. Mario has a few ways of simple progression. He can collect mushrooms to make him bigger, a fire flower to let him shoot fireballs, and even a star that grants him invincibility for a short period of time. In the article First Person, when discussing Mario, Henry Jenkins states, quote, "We situate side-scrollers alongside a much older tradition of spatial storytelling. Many Japanese scroll paintings map, for example, the passing of the seasons onto an unfolding space." Mario's style of gameplay is just like that of a Japanese scroll painting, as you move across the canvas with the Italian plumber. This makes sense, as Nintendo is a Japanese company. When looking at Ms. Pac-Man, the game rewards the player with cutscenes every couple levels, to keep the game refreshing, while also showing Ms. Pac-Man's love for Pac-Man. Ms. Pac-Man's gameplay is very simplistic, as she moves along different colored mazes avoiding evil ghosts and eating pegs along the way. Ms. Pac-Man can also collect food such as pretzels in order to increase her score and get extra lives. Where Ms. Pac-Man shines is its arcade cabinet. The arcade cabinet is not something we see unless we have the machine itself, but the machine actually does a good amount of the heavy lifting when telling the story. Eric Zimmerman from the article First Person stated, quote, "The large-scale characters on the physical arcade game cabinet establish a graphical story about the chase between Ms. Pac-Man and the ghosts. Ms. Pac-Man has features of an actual lady, and the vibrant and neon colors truly separate Ms. Pac-Man from the original Pac-Man." Overall, both Super Mario and Ms. Pac-Man in their own unique ways advance the narratives of their own games. This early form of storytelling provides the building blocks of how video game narratives would evolve.